Welcome back to Yang Daily. I'll be your host, Alex Cheney, bringing you all the Yang news you need to live your life right. We've got a quick update to catch up on some important items from the week, some procedural, some shocking, and some excellent. Let's get to it. Shout out to our Tier 3 patrons, Peter Park, Shay Meehan, and Nathan Stankowski, as well as all our other patrons. You keep us all informed and engaged. If anyone out there wants to join these advocates of humanity first and independent journalism, head on over to patreon.com/yangdaily. It would only take a couple of bucks a month from each listener to keep this podcast and community going and growing into the future. In today's insurrection update, interviews have been released with the officer who was crushed in the doorway and the officer who was dragged out into the mob. The former says that while his arms were pinned, he was beat in the head with his own baton, and someone gouged his eye with their thumb. He said, quote, "The cognitive dissonance and zealotry of these people is unreal. They were waving the thin blue line flag while calling us traitors." End quote. The latter described being dragged down the stairs face down and surrounded, whereupon the crowd beat him with thin blue line and American flags and tased him, triggering a mild heart attack. They stripped his gear and tried to get to his gun, yelling to kill him with his own weapon. The officer said that he decided using deadly force would be deadly for him as well, choosing instead to shout that he had kids. It was enough for some in the crowd to step in and protect him. His message to those rioters was, quote, "Thank you, but F you for being there." End quote. Those interviews in the links below. Did I seriously forget to mention impeachment before? I think I did, didn't I? Right. Well, my bad. Pence declined to invoke the 25th Amendment, saying he didn't think it appropriate. Pretty late in the game for him to grow a conscience or a spine, so no real surprise. The House successfully voted to impeach, meaning that Trump is now the only president in history to be impeached twice. 10 Republicans voted to impeach Trump this time, with 197 voting against. Whether any consequences are attached to that impeachment will depend on whether the Senate decides to convict him of the crime, which is incitement of insurrection. According to the New York Times, McConnell told associates that he believes Trump committed impeachable offenses and is pleased that Democrats are moving to impeach him, believing that will make it easier to purge Trump from the party. But he has said he will not begin the trial until after Biden's inauguration. The Times also report that McCarthy, the GOP House Minority Leader, has asked other Republicans if he should call on Trump to resign or move to censure him. The GOP did not formally lobby against impeachment as they did last time. McConnell has certainly been more critical of Trump now that his tenure is near its end, and has not spoken directly to Trump since McConnell acknowledged Biden as president-elect. The withdrawal of political donations to the party may also be playing a role in the GOP's stance. Personally, I agree with those pushing for impeachment. With all that's been done, I don't see how we can possibly move forward without levying punishment against Trump for his crimes against the country. It would be setting the precedent that presidents are above the law, even when they wage war against America's constitutional values. This is entirely unacceptable and unsustainable. I won't cover it in detail here, but a BuzzFeed reporter wrote a revealing article about his former coworker who ended up storming the Capitol. The person in question basically morphed their personality and supposed beliefs to fit whatever got the most attention, bouncing from pranks to Bernie to Trump like a focus group avatar. It was a classic example of how pursuit of fame and profit in media are destroying the country. Check it out in the description if you're interested. Scott wrote a new article about UBI through the lens of the COVID crisis, and I think he has concisely summarized what I consider to be the core reasons for supporting it. Quote, "Do we have a right to life if what we need to live can be withheld from us? Do we have liberty if we lack the power to say no to exploitation or abuse? Can we pursue happiness if all we're pursuing is survival? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are all just words without unconditional access to the basic needs of existence." End quote. That's what UBI means to me, freedom and pursuit of happiness. Don't forget to sign the linked petition from Fund for Humanity as well if you haven't already. Okay, so apparently I not only missed Biden announcing his pick for Secretary of Commerce a few days back, because it seems like no one, even the big news agencies, showed any interest in it, but also I was wrong about Yang waiting to see if he got picked for that position. In an interview on The Breakfast Club, he directly addressed this, saying that he was in talks with the Biden administration about his Secretary of Technology position, but ended those talks when he decided to run for mayor, saying that he made the decision because the city is hurting and he believes he can help. I'm pretty shocked by this, honestly. I'd say the whole country is hurting and maybe he could help more in a federal role, but that's just speculation on my part and it's obviously his choice. We'll run with his play. Biden picked Gina Raimondo for Commerce, by the way, and the Breakfast Club interview is in the relevant thread below. Finally, we need to get caught up with mayors for AGI, because I am overjoyed to announce that they have 5 new members since New Year's. Welcome City Manager Thomas Ambrosino of Chelsea, Massachusetts, Mayor Eddie Sundquist of Jamestown, New York, Mayor Katie Rosenberg of Wausau, Wisconsin, Mayor Prince of Gary, Indiana, and Mayor Florsheim of Middletown, Connecticut. My apologies for no doubt butchering your names, and even those of your cities. The rate of growth of this coalition continues to amaze. Let's keep it going. Visit the thread below and give each of our new allies a welcome and a follow, gang. But that's not all. I'm also very happy to announce that Martin Luther King III has confirmed he will be the co-chair for Yang's mayoral campaign. Show me any candidate with a better ally. You can't. So cool. I wonder if they'll officially announce it on Monday, which is MLK Day. I think Trump's terrorist movement is unfortunately going to infringe a lot on the remembrance of King this year, which is just one more tragedy, but his son announcing an alliance with Yang in order to continue the fight for guaranteed income would be a really great way to celebrate, don't you think? And that'll do it for today's Yang Daily. Let your senators know your thoughts on impeachment. Bookmark and share Scott's article, the UBI petition, the Yang cabinet decision, and MLK3 co-chairing the campaign. Welcome and follow our new MGIs. Flood Congress with calls, tweets, faxes, and letters using the Resist Bot or Income Movement Easy Contacts below. If you need help, consult Humanity Forward, the Income Movement Aid Database, the Mission Asset Fund, United Way, or the H3 podcast thread. And don't forget to Yang Daily.